Hello YouTube. In this video I'm going to talk about how young people and how teenagers are sometimes discriminated against, how they're sometimes not treated fairly, and this very important difference between young people and how other types of people have not been treated fairly. For instance, black people have been discriminated against and have not been treated fairly. Women have been discriminated against and not treated fairly. Now, I know that black as a term, it might not be always considered politically correct, that you got to say African American, but I think political correctness can go too far sometimes, and it gets a bit silly. For instance, you can't say a word like blackboard, you got to say chalkboard. You can't say something like BC for before Christ, you have to say BCE, before Common Era. And a children's story would go something like, Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an English person. So this political correctness, it can get really silly sometimes. And especially for this video, I think that black would be a better term than African American. I don't mean to sound derogatory, but put it this way. Somebody who's born black, they're black for life, and if you're not born black, you never will be black. Now, somebody who's born African American, they won't necessarily be African American for life. At least they might not always be American. They might move. By the same token, you could have somebody who's from Africa, who's born in Africa, who then moves to the United States and becomes an American citizen. So they are then technically an American. They are African American, but they did not start out as such. And that's what I usually think of when I hear the term African American. I think of somebody who is originally from Africa, who then moves to the United States. And often that is a black person, but not necessarily. I once knew this guy who was from Africa, who moved to the United States, and he was white. So anyway, this very big difference between youth rights, between teenagers, and between black people and women. As I said, that if somebody's born black, they're black for life. And if you're not born black, you never will be. Somebody who's born female is female for life. But if you're not born female, you never will be. Now, as far as being born young, everybody, of course, is born young. You're born as a little baby. But you're not going to be young for life. Provided, of course, you live long enough. As it is, we don't know beforehand just how long we have to live. Nobody's guaranteed tomorrow. But assuming that you live the average lifespan of 70, 80 years, you're not always going to be a young person. Teenagers are not always going to be teenagers. They eventually will get to be older. And you see what this does is those people who are opposed to youth rights, opposed to teen rights, it gives them some extra ammunition. They can say, wait till you get older. All these great, wonderful things that you might not be allowed to do now, stuff such as driving, dating, voting, staying out late at night, being independent from your parents, etc., etc., etc. You'll be able to do that later on in life. You just got to wait till you get older. You'll have your freedom then. After all, you can't say to a black person, wait till you turn white. You don't turn white. Either you're born white or you aren't. You can't say to a woman, wait till you turn male. You don't turn male. You're either born male or you aren't. So skin color doesn't change and gender doesn't change, and besides, why would you want those things to change? You should be glad to be what you are, whatever skin color, whatever gender. You should be glad to be what you are. Age, on the other hand, that does change. Whether we want it to or not, it does change. And so that, as I said, it gives people who are opposed to teen rights, it gives them that extra ammunition. Their side of the argument is this. They say, wait till you get older, you'll have your freedom then. They'll tell a 14, 15, 16-year-old, just wait for those few years. Wait till you hit that magical age of 18, 21, 25, whenever. Then you'll have your freedom. It might seem like a long time now, but when you get there, it won't be all that long. Just wait. And no doubt there's people watching this video right now who are thinking that same thing. Why can't teenagers just wait? Why can't they wait till they get older? Well, I'll tell you why teenagers shouldn't wait till they get older. For a teenager to wait till they get older, for them to wait through their young teenage years, that defeats the purpose. It defeats the purpose of doing all these great, wonderful things when you're young, experiencing that freedom when you're young, when you're a teenager, showing the world that teenagers can do just as much and can enjoy freedom and enjoy life just as much as anyone else. To wait past those years, that defeats that very purpose. Part of what makes certain stuff so wonderful and great is waiting until you is not waiting, but doing it when you're young. To wait past it, once those years are gone, they are gone. There is no going back. Black people have all their lives to be black and to prove to the world that black people can be just as successful, do just as much, and enjoy life just as much as anyone else. Women have all their lives to be female and to prove to the world that they can do just as much, they can be just as successful, and enjoy life just as much as anyone else. Teenagers do not have their whole lives to prove to the world that teenagers can do just as much and be just as successful as anyone else. You only have so long to be a teenager. So that is why you shouldn't wait. That is why teenagers shouldn't wait through those years. And besides, by doing things when you're young, that way you get more experience that will help you out later on in life. If you wait through those years, you will miss out on the experience. All the driving, dating, voting, partying, blah, 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 at the age of 25, if you wait till you're older, like 25, won't change the fact that you didn't do it when you were younger. You didn't do it when you were a teenager. Megan Fox, for instance, the actress who's perhaps best known as her role in the Transformers movie, she had this, from what I know, she grew up in Tennessee, and she had this real strict jerk of a stepdad. His name was Tony Tenacio, and he was your wicked stepdad, you could say. He was very strict. She wasn't allowed to date, have a boyfriend. Now she's married to this guy, Brian Austin Green. She got married at the age of 24, and from what I know, he's a great guy, and they're happily married. But you could say now with Megan Fox, not only can she date, she can be married. She is married. Not only she got a boyfriend, she's got a husband. But all the dating and being married in the world would not have changed the fact that of not having done it when you were younger. Which, by the way, didn't work with Megan Fox. Just like to say that not being allowed to have a boyfriend, that didn't work. She had a boyfriend anyway. This guy, Ben Leahy, who Megan was dating him when she was 14. She was dating this guy, Ben Leahy, and they were dating up until she was 18. That was when her Hollywood lifestyle was just too much for him, and so they broke up. But that just goes to show you that that jerk of a stepdad, Tony Tenacio, that his strictness trying to prevent Megan from having a boyfriend, it didn't work. So he can take it and shove it. That's how you deal with strictness, with strict people. You got to use their own strictness against them. You got to fight fire with fire. That is how you deal with strictness. That's what Frederick Douglass did. At one point when Frederick Douglass, he had this particularly strict, particularly abusive slave master known as a slave breaker. His name was Edward Covey, and Frederick Douglass got some of his most severe whippings at the hands of this Edward Covey guy. Then one day, Frederick Douglass, he physically fought back, and he beat the heck out of Edward Covey. He let that jerk have it. Edward Covey never lifted a finger to him again after that. That just goes to show you, as Frederick Douglass did, you just can't let people push you around with their strictness. You got to turn it against them. And so that concludes this video. This is why teenagers shouldn't wait. If you wait past those years, once they're gone, they are gone. And all the great, wonderful stuff you do later on in life won't change the fact that you didn't do it when you were a teenager. So that is why that idea of, teenagers should just wait till they get older before they have their freedom, they'll get their freedom then. This is why it doesn't work. This is why teenagers shouldn't wait. So all you teenagers out there, if you wait till you get older, you're going to regret it. I'm just telling you that you're going to regret not doing the stuff that you're doing when you were younger. So that is the conclusion of this video. Don't wait. Teenagers, get out there. Enjoy life.